The County of Wake is now convening and sitting for its regular dispatch of business. The Honorable Judge Donald Stevens, President and presiding. No yes or yes, God save this state and His honorable court. You may be seated.
Thank you, Sheriff. Ladies and gentlemen, the bailiff has declared that the Superior Court of Wake County is now in session. I'm Don Stevens, the senior resident judge here in Wake County. We want to thank you for coming to this special event, an event that marks a milestone in the lives of every new lawyer here. All of us who are lawyers recall and remember with some detail the day we were sworn in. For each new lawyer today, it's a milestone in your professional life. It's the day that you take your oath of office, the oath of attorney, and become an officer of the court. Today marks the ending and the beginning of where you are professionally. The ending of wanting to be a lawyer and wanting to pass the bar and being a student to the time in which you begin the practice of law. GS 84-1 reads as follows: attorneys before they shall be admitted to practice law shall, in open court, before a justice or judge of the General Court of Justice, personally appear and take the oath of office prescribed for attorneys by GS 11-11, and also the oaths of allegiance to the state and to support the Constitution of the United States, prescribed by all public officers by Article 6, Section 7 of the North Carolina Constitution, and, upon such qualification had, an oath taken, may act as attorneys during their good behavior. This is the sixth time in our memory when the Superior Court of Wake County has convened at some place other than the Wake County Courthouse for the purpose of administering the oath to new lawyers. The inherent authority of the Superior Court has been recognized in the appellate opinions of the state, which permits the presiding judge of the Superior Court, in appropriate circumstances, to convene court in a facility other than the courthouse when the circumstances are unique. And on every occasion in the past, I've told this story, and those of you who've been here 5 times before, I apologize, but I'm going to tell it again. Because there's an obvious purpose in the telling. And it's quite vivid to me, and I hope you will remember it, because it is a message beyond the facts of what I'm going to say. In May of 1986, as a relatively new Superior Court judge, I think I've been on the bench about 2 years, I was commissioned by the Chief Justice to preside over a criminal session of the Superior Court in Madison County. The only case on that calendar was the case of State versus William Bray. Mr. Bray had been charged with murder in the first degree of a young Highway Patrol trooper named Bobby Coggins, who had made a routine traffic stop on a rural mountain road in Madison County and died as a result of it. When I got to Madison County, the county seat is Marshall. It's located on the banks of the French Broad River up in the mountains. When I got to the courthouse, I was met by the sheriff on that Monday morning, E.Y. Ponder, on the front steps of that building. The massive dome of the Madison County Courthouse was sitting in the middle of the parking lot. Sheriff Ponder explained to me that the courthouse was undergoing renovation, and there was a temporary plywood roof. We had no chairs in the courtroom. There was no judge's bench. There was no jury box. I actually opened court in the Register of Deeds office. I made findings in the record that the condition of the facility was not adequate to try a jury trial. We adjourned to the local high school in the auditorium. I heard a motion to change venue, which I allowed. We transferred the case, obviously. We transferred the case to Buncombe County. I tried it for about 5 weeks to a jury. So, for all you newly licensed lawyers out there asking yourself, is this legal? Can the judge swear me in the Fletcher Opera Theater of the Progress Energy Center for the Performing Arts and call it a courtroom? remember the statute says that you'll be sworn in open court? And the answer to that is yes. So as you begin this journey into the practice of law, you'll find out that all the answers aren't necessarily set out in the statutes that you read. The practice of law is a journey into how the statutes and the rules and the legal concepts that you've been learning come together to work in a very complex world. As we begin this journey into the practice of law, you will find that trial judges have tremendous inherent authority to do what it takes to make our system of justice work. So, not unlike in 1986 in Madison County, about an hour ago, I convened Superior Court in Wake County in courtroom 3A, one of our 20 courtrooms in that courthouse. I found the facility was inadequate for this ceremony to administer the oath to 100 or so new lawyers, as well as several hundred guests and sponsors. And I entered that order and adjourned court to reconvene here at this location for this program. So again, I say, the Superior Court, as the bailiff has told you, of Wake County is in session. The clerk staff is here, Mary Beth Grady. She will record the minutes of these proceedings. The High Sheriff, Donnie Harrison, is here to provide appropriate security. But I told him it did not appear to me to be a totally unruly crowd. I don't know where Sheriff Harrison is, but I know he's here. There he is. There he is, right there. And my bailiff, Deputy Askew, is also here. The sheriff said he's got 3 chases going on right now in the county, and he may have to get up and leave, and that's okay. He'll be doing his job. As you take your oath today and begin the practice of law, and if you remain in Raleigh, you will find that you become a member of a local bar that includes at least 3,500 licensed attorneys. I'm not sure the number right now, it keeps growing every day. This is a collegial bar, and hopefully your fellow lawyers will help you as you start this journey into the practice of law. And one of the purposes of this event today is to allow the president of our bar, on behalf of the bar, to welcome you and to give you some sage advice that he hopefully will impart to you, and to have a distinguished judge of the Court of Appeals, the Honorable Linda McGee, share with you her thoughts on what it means to be a practicing lawyer in today's world. After they speak, I'll call the roll and administer your oaths to you. You're going to get a lot of advice today, and that advice will probably continue as long as your journey into the practice of law continues. We never stop learning, and we never stop listening if we intend to carry out our jobs as best we can. Knowing the law and knowing how to practice the law are 2 entirely different concepts. A lot of well-meaning lawyers will try to help you learn both and try to keep you from sticking your foot in the bucket. Judge Chip Hite usually likes to use that term. That lawyer's about to stick his foot in the bucket. Trial judges can't take sides, but if you pay attention, you may find that they try to give you subtle warnings that you're about to stick your foot in the bucket. Before I recognize Judge Eagles and our speaker, I've got one story to tell you that Judge John Jolly, who's our special Superior Court judge and one of our 3 business judges, he's got this wonderful story about one of his first jury trials that he had in federal district court in the Eastern District of North Carolina in front of the late Judge Frank Dupree. And Bill Thorpe, who's now passed on, was representing the plaintiff in the case, and John was representing the defendant. And after the plaintiff rested, John called his first witness, who John believed would establish his defense. And the witness came to court to tell his story, but he really didn't want to bother with having to answer questions to tell that story. So no matter what question John asked, the witness answered something else, or he said something else. And most of what he said was helping the plaintiff and was hurting John and his client. So eventually, Bill Thorpe objected, and again, and again, and again, and Judge Dupree sustained the objection. Sustained, sustained, sustained. So finally, as judges do, Judge Dupree summoned the lawyers to the bench, and he said, as only he could say it, William, and was talking to Mr. Thorpe, young Jolly appears to be having difficulty with this witness. Do you mind if I think his words were, set forth a line of inquiry that would not be subject to objection? Now, what Judge Dupree was saying, you mind if I help him out? Of course, at that time, Bill Thorpe was probably the leading plaintiff's lawyer in the state, was the first lawyer to get a $1 million verdict, was the founder of the Academy of Trial Lawyers, was afraid of no one and no judge. But when a federal judge says, do you mind if I help this guy out? I mean, you know, good lawyering tells you how to answer that question. And of course, Bill Thorpe said, good idea, Judge. And so Judge Dupree, and John says that, you know, when you're young, the courtrooms look bigger, the benches look higher, and he really couldn't see what Judge Dupree was doing, but he said it appeared that Judge Dupree was writing something on a piece of paper. And then he folded the paper and handed that paper to John and sent the lawyers back to their tables. John said he returned to his defense table and he opened the paper and it was blank. And so the advice that Judge Dupree was giving him was clear. Don't ask this witness another question. You've already put your foot in the bucket and you've been dragging that bucket all over the courtroom. So all of us who at one time or other have had both feet in that bucket in our professional lives know how it feels. And we hope that we can impart to you and that your sponsors and your mentors will impart to you a little bit about the practice of law so you can avoid some of the perils that we have found ourselves facing as we were doing some lawyering along the way. It's a pleasure for me to introduce today Sid Eagles, the president of the Wake County Bar Association. He brings to you greetings and remarks, and Judge Eagles started out lawyering in the 1960s. He and I sat at the same table in at least one pretty serious case in Durham, representing the same client. He went on to the Court of Appeals and retired as the chief judge of that court. And he served with our speaker today, Judge McGee, and he will be introducing her in just a moment. Since for some, the practice of law is a calling, the law, after he retired, apparently, called him back from retirement, and he continues to practice law in Raleigh. So I recognize our president of our bar, Sid Eagles, for remarks. Thank you.
May it please the court, on behalf of the 10th Judicial District Bar and the Wake County Bar Association, I'm very proud to welcome each new licensee and every family member or guest here for our semi-annual swearing-in ceremony for new lawyers who either reside in or plan to practice in Raleigh or Wake County. Before I go very far at all, I want to express the bar's appreciation and my personal thanks to our senior resident judge, without whom holding this ceremony under any circumstances would be extremely difficult, and holding them here is just an exercise of pleasure for all of us. Judge Stevens, we appreciate your going the extra mile for us and for these new admittees, and are grateful for that help. I should say how much I appreciate the work of the Bar Association staff. Alice Rodman and her people have labored unstintingly. Nan Hanna and Chris Jackson and the swearing-in committee of the Bar Association and the 10th Judicial District Bar have labored long and hard. I'm told that in solving and trying complex cases involving lots of details, it's important to follow the money. And so I want to recognize and pay attention to the sponsors whose financial aid helped make this ceremony in this venue possible. Our platinum sponsors, North State Bank, Investors Title Insurance Company, and Lawyers Insurance Agency. Our gold sponsors, Lawyers Mutual Insurance Company of North Carolina and Peachtree Associates. Our silver sponsors, Emmett Boney Haywood, Hutchinson Law Group, PLLC, Kennedy Covington Lobdell and Hickman, LLP, Kirby Kilpatrick and Stockton, LLP, Kirby and Holt, Kirschbaum, Nanny, Keenan and Griffin, Manning, Fulton and Skinner, Nichols and Crampton, Smith Moore, my own firm, Tharrington Smith, Womble, Carlisle, Sandridge and Rice, Wyrick, Robbins, Yates and Ponton, Yates, McLand and Wire, Young, Moore and Henderson. All these entities have contributed financially to assure that this ceremony can be done in a style befitting the great honor that it is for us and the great celebration that it will be for you. We ask that you give them your thanks. Any leader is sometimes imposed upon to be a salesman. It is a mantle that fits some of us somewhat uncomfortably, but let me tell you that when it comes to the Bar Association, I'm an eager salesman. For the benefit of the new admittees, membership upon licensure is mandatory and automatic in the North Carolina State Bar. It is also mandatory and automatic in the 10th Judicial District Bar or some district bar, depending on where you live and practice law. They are both quasi-governmental agencies. They are responsible for the regulation of lawyers as to professionalism, civility, and ethics, as well as compliance with the laws and rules regarding the practice of law. Now, the Wake County Bar, on the other hand, is a voluntary association of lawyers. And let me go back. I have current information about the membership in the 10th Judicial District Bar. We are now at 3,700 lawyers, not counting you all, so probably about 3,800 lawyers. And the county bar is at 2,100 lawyers, and we'll wait and see how many applications we get. We have no regulatory powers in the Wake County Bar Association, but we have many civic, charitable, and social goals. We require that you pay separate dues to join us. You must live or practice law in Wake County and be a member in good standing of the North Carolina State Bar. In your materials today, there should be an application form for membership in the Wake County Bar Association. There are many benefits that arise from paying those dues, including 10 luncheon meetings, 4 social gatherings for members, or in some cases, members and families, or members and spouses. Plus, our professionalism and CLE committees are active in offering CLE programs each year, free or at nominal charge. As you learn about CLE as a member of the bar, you will know that free and CLE are rarely in the same sentence. So this is a membership perk. Membership dues are $125 a year, but for persons who join in the next several weeks, dues are prorated to $90 for the remainder of 2006, including the CLE program in October, the fall oyster roast, the November professionalism program, and the December holiday party. The dues for 2007, and I hope you're paying attention, for new admittees is offered at a 50% discount. So for the 12 months of 2007, your dues will be $62.50. Go figure. A bargain, take it while you can. In closing this part of my presentation, I want to welcome each of you individually and collectively to this bar. We are a great bar. I'd suggest the best in the state and one of the best in the country. We have excellent lawyers. We have collegial and professional lawyers. We invite you to join that and add to that tradition. Finally, congratulations on this new honor. And now I want to turn to, if I can find my stack of stuff, I want to turn to the introduction of our guest speaker. It's my honor, and I do mean honor, to introduce our occasion's keynote speaker, the Honorable Linda McGee, a judge of the Court of Appeals. I confess I am considerably older than Judge McGee. Actually, I'm practically older than anybody. But I have known Judge McGee since her early days of practice in the 1970s, when she was the very first executive director of the North Carolina Academy of Trial Lawyers, and I was an assistant attorney general. After leaving Raleigh in 1978, she practiced law in the West in Boone and lived in Hickory from 1978 till 1995 with the firm of DeSanti, Finger, and McGee. In 1995, Governor James B. Hunt appointed her to the Court of Appeals, where I had the pleasure to serve with her. She has served with distinction, with integrity, and with ability. She's currently the senior female of 5 females on that 15-judge court and is 3rd in seniority overall. Judge McGee's been unstinting in her service to the public. She served on the Board of Legal Services of North Carolina, the Board of Governors of the North Carolina Bar Association, and the North Carolina Board of Bar Examiners. She's been president of the Watauga County Bar Association and president of Legal Services of North Carolina. She has a resume filled with extracurricular activities that would make even her mother blush. She's been involved in the ABA, the American Bar Association, the National Association of Women Judges, the North Carolina Association of Women Lawyers, and many other organizations. She's been singled out by some of those organizations with honors such as the Gwyneth B. Davis Award by the North Carolina Association of Women Attorneys, one of their very highest awards, and by the North Carolina Bar Association with its Pro Bono Service Award. Judge McGee's been successful in everything she's undertaken that I know about. Administrator, lawyer, bar examiner, board member, president, wife, mother, and judge. Among her most excellent work, to my knowledge, has been her diligent, scholarly, hardworking, fair, independent, and impartial judging from the Court of Appeals. I say this with confidence, although I know her husband Gary would want to boast about her role as wife and mother, and her sons would want to assert her skills as parent and spouse. Judge McGee, in a word, is an outstanding individual, an outstanding judge, and a great role model for men and women alike as a thoroughly professional and selfless leader. Us with her appearance today. I give you Judge Linda McGee of the Court of Appeals.
I can't remember a nicer introduction. Certainly warms my heart. Good afternoon. We can do better. Good afternoon. Good afternoon. Welcome. Thank you for this special honor and for this special opportunity to be here with you on one of the most important days in your life. I also want to, of course, thank the Wake County Bar President, Sid Eagles, not only for that wonderful introduction, but for being a grand friend, and also Nan Hannah for giving me this special opportunity to be here with you today. I also appreciate the services today of our presiding judge, Judge Stevens. Judge Stevens, that's a name I've heard a lot more recently over the last few months since Judge Stevens' wife, Judge Linda Stevens, joined our court, North Carolina Court of Appeals. I believe that North Carolina is the only appellate court in the country that has 2 judges whose first name are Linda. Let me add my congratulations to you today. Congratulate you on your perseverance, your hard work in attaining the high goal, and yes, the high calling of being a lawyer. Please take lots of time and opportunity to thank those around you who have supported you through this process, who have encouraged you on your quest to be a lawyer. When you have the opportunity today, also please look through your packet, and you'll find a listing here of all the different committees of the Wake County Bar Association. I hope you will take advantage of the opportunity of being involved in the Wake County Bar. I think you will be pleased with the kind of work that is done by the bar. And if you have any questions at all, please ask Alice Roman, our executive director, who has been supportive of so many members of the bar here for many years. The Wake County Bar Association is a community of professionals who support one another, and we invite you to contribute to this supportive legal community. I want to talk to you this afternoon about professionalism. That probably will not surprise you. I suspect that you have spent a good deal of time in recent years being prepared to take the portion of the bar exam that focuses on ethics, but I want to do it in a little different way today, if I might. I'm proud that the lawyers in our state pay great attention to professionalism, so much so that we have a Chief Justice's Commission on Professionalism that is well led by Mel Wright. The focus of lawyers in our state on professionalism gives you an opportunity, hello, to attend a continuing legal education program called The Renaissance of Professionalism and learn from the leaders of our bar on Friday, October 13th at the NC Bar Center in Cary. The lawyers in our state are serious about professionalism. When our program planners today invited me to speak to you about professionalism, they said they always hoped that their keynote speakers would give an inspirational speech. Let's do something slightly different today. Let's have an aspirational speech where we talk about the kind of conduct you aspire to exhibit as a lawyer. Being a judge whose frequent responsibility is to decide cases based on definitions, let's begin with a non-medical definition of aspiration. Aspiration, non-medically, is defined as a strong desire to achieve something high or great, a will to succeed, a cherished desire. Let me describe for you the life of a lawyer to which you can aspire, the kind of lawyer I would hope my own child would aspire to be. Former Supreme Court Justice Sandra Day O'Connor has said, "We don't accomplish anything in this world alone, and whatever happens is a result of a whole tapestry of one's life and all the weavings of individual threads from one to another which creates something." Let me share with you the threads of the life of the lawyer we can aspire to be. In general, the lawyer we aspire to be exhibits principles of competence and dedication to the service of clients, civility, improvement of the justice system, advancement of the rule of law, and service to the community. Our lawyer shows respect, always treating other lawyers, clients, judges, and the general public with a sense of fairness and equality. This lawyer models for others the respect due to our courts. As a professional, the lawyer acts with complete honesty. The lawyer knows well the court rules and procedures and gives appropriate deference to court decisions. The lawyer respects the role of the judiciary and the obligation of the judiciary to make informed and impartial decisions. Our lawyer is trustworthy. Another lawyer never has to question this lawyer's word, since the lawyer's word is the lawyer's bond. Our lawyer preserves and improves the law and our legal system by well representing the lawyer's clients and treats them the same, regardless of race, gender, income status, physical or mental disability, ethnic background, or whether the client is the state of North Carolina. Our lawyer preserves the dignity and integrity of our profession by the lawyer's conduct. The dignity and the integrity of our profession is an inheritance that must be maintained by each successive generation of lawyers. No influence on a new lawyer, it's a privileged name you're going to be enjoying sharing in a few minutes, but no influence on a new lawyer is greater than a true mentor. It is a great service that this lawyer gives to fellow lawyers by sharing that lawyer's knowledge, experience, and wisdom that new lawyers need in finding their place in the legal community. This lawyer mentors and fosters better lawyers. The individual involvement in the community of this caring lawyer who gives back and who is committed to public service shows others that the legal profession makes a difference. The conduct of this lawyer helps the public better understand why lawyers are proud of their role in society. This lawyer is engaged as a productive citizen in the local community. In dealing with other lawyers, the lawyer we aspire to be recognizes our interdependence. This leads to the lawyer helping other colleagues to become better people in the practice of law and to accept the assistance of others when it is offered. The lawyer respects the needs of others in developing as a whole person to lead a balanced life, focusing on family, community, spiritual and health needs, and career. This lawyer we aspire to be understands the need for young people and members of the public generally to understand better and to appreciate the need for and the role of our judicial branch. Thus, this lawyer speaks to the lawyer's children's classes about our system of justice from the time the child starts to school through high school. From talking about justice in trying the big bad wolf, for destroying the property and consuming the life of the three little pigs, to why your book bag may be subject to search at a public high school. And who can better teach students about the rule of law than those of us who make our living by it every day? Our lawyer works to improve the practice of law by teaching at continuing legal education seminars, from county bar programs to state and national programs, by being actively involved in our organized bar activities, again from leadership in our Wake County Bar to the North Carolina Bar Association, the North Carolina State Bar, to the House of Delegates of the American Bar Association. Our lawyer assists law schools in the education of future lawyers by serving as an adjunct professor. The lawyer we aspire to be does not limit the lawyer's support of quality education to CLE programs and classroom discussions, but also serves on the governing board of the lawyer's undergraduate or law school. When an institution of higher learning in our state needs outside assistance to continue providing learning opportunities to young people, the lawyer takes a leadership role in moving that college to a position of stability and advancement. This lawyer understands the need for the judicial branch to be adequately funded. With our courts receiving less than 3% of the state's budget to operate our courts efficiently and effectively in all 100 counties across the state, this lawyer actively shares concerns about adequate funding with the lawyers' legislators, including walking down Fayetteville Street and over to the General Assembly building and sitting down in the office of the lawyers' legislators to personally tell them how this inadequate funding affects the rights of those using our courts to have prompt resolution of their claims in a fair, efficient, and humane way. To help protect the public from problem lawyering, our lawyer may serve as a state bar counselor dealing with the conduct of lawyers, or serve on the North Carolina Judicial Standards Commission that deals with the conduct of judges. Understanding the need for promptly and fairly resolving claims, this lawyer obtains special training to become a certified mediator, giving the public an additional dispute resolution choice for resolving their legal claims. The lawyer encourages others to also obtain these specialized skills to give their clients additional options. This lawyer values cooperation as a means toward the productive resolution of disputes, always keeping in mind the need for competent representation of all parties. Our lawyer eventually becomes so deeply committed to defending the independence and integrity of the judiciary that the lawyer decides to seek appointment or run for election to the bench. This lawyer knows that without a strong, independent judicial system, that we would not enjoy the rights and liberties that we have sought so long to preserve and expand. The rule of law becomes ineffective without respect for separation of powers and for the judiciary. As you may have suspected by now, I am not just speaking to you about a mythical lawyer. I am honored to take this unusual opportunity to present to you the living embodiment of professionalism, my longtime friend, mentor, and the person who helped me to develop my aspirational goals, former Chief Judge Sid Eagles. That was not expected. However, may we all aspire to his high noble standards. I appreciate this rare opportunity to say thank you to a talented lawyer for a lifetime of service to the legal profession, and to show you a lawyer's life to which you can aspire. Thank you.
You know, the trait of a good lawyer, good trial lawyer anyway, is to expect the unexpected. That's wonderful. I concur completely with Judge McGee's remarks and her tribute to Sid Eagles. We reached that point in this program while you're here. Well, most of you came. Because you can't go out there practicing without being sworn. I'm going to call roll, if I can find the roll, of sponsors and new lawyers. And we'll try to do this as expeditiously as we can, but we have at least 91 or 92 new attorneys here. So, I mean, y'all can do the math. There's a lawyer in Lumberton, Evander Brett, who's passed away now, but he was a wonderful lawyer. But every time he objected, Evander would stand up, he would button his coat, and he would say, "Your Honor, it pleases me with respect to this matter to stand on behalf of my client to interpose an objection to counsel's last question." Well, you know, it's kind of cool the first couple of times, you know. But after a while, it takes a long time to get to a witness. So if Evander's got to button that coat and unbutton that coat, and so. I know a lot of you may have a lot to say about these new folks, and I hope you share that all outside after this vote. But if you can keep it short for it would help us all. Otherwise, it's going to be a long afternoon. This is a motion. We're in session, so you are actually moving the admission to practice before this court of the new attorney. You'll need to identify the attorney by name. You'll need to give me some assurance that you've seen his or her credentials and that he or she are in fact properly before the court for admission. As I have said on these occasions, I have never denied one of these motions, but you never can tell, so it does. So we'll start out with Dwight Allen, who I show, and also let me say this too, if you are sponsoring 4 or 5 different people, it would really help us if you could identify all of them the first time you stand up. Otherwise we've got you on the list 4 or 5 times, some of you, but if you could tell us all the folks you have here and we'll recognize them all at one time so you won't have to stand up and make multiple motions.
Thank you, Your Honor. May it please the court, my name is Dwight Allen. I'm with the Smith Anderson Law Firm in Raleigh. I'm here to sponsor Britton Helms Allen. I've known this young man for a long time. As a matter of fact, I met him at 7:02 p.m. on May 31st, 1980. He was in the delivery room of the Nash General Hospital, and his mother was kind enough to invite me to appear. A graduate of the University of Maryland and also the North Carolina Central Law School. I believe and am satisfied that he has met all the requirements to be licensed in North Carolina, and in front of those assembled here, particularly his mother and his wife and family members, I would like to know that he be admitted to practice law in the state of North Carolina and before the courts of this state.
Where is Britton? Is he? All right, stand up, here we go. All right. Certainly your motion's allowed. I'm sure that you're the second happiest person here today. The sponsor is far more.
His mom and I haven't paid for those credentials, we can vouch for.
Thank you. Time's up, motion's allowed. Henry Campbell, where are you, Henry?
Please support. My name is Henry Campbell. I'm an attorney with Parker, Poe, Adams, and Bernstein. It is my privilege to introduce to the court Antonia Aquilante. Antonia is a graduate of Georgetown University and the Duke Law School. I am satisfied that she has met all the requirements for admission to practice before the courts of the state, and I move for admission before this court.
Okay, is she here?
Yes.
Okay, stand up, please. Thank you. Your motion's allowed. Thank you. If the new attorney would stand up at the time the sponsor does, that will help us. Brian Dutt.
May it please the court, my name is Brian Bick. I'm currently a law clerk for the Honorable Allison Duncan. I'm here to introduce Sarah Walker Baker to the court today. Ms. Baker is a graduate of the University of Virginia and did her law studies at Duke University. I'm satisfied that she meets all the requirements to practice before the court, and I move that she be admitted.
That's great. Thank you. Motion allowed. Brian Schoolman.
Good afternoon, Your Honor. May it please the court, my name is Brian Schoolman. I am an attorney with Stafford Law Offices here in Raleigh. I wish to present to the court Amanda P. Bell. She's a graduate of North Carolina State University and the Campbell University School of Law. I'm satisfied that she meets all of the requirements for admission to practice law in the state of North Carolina, and I therefore respectfully move that she be admitted to practice before the courts of this state.
Welcome. The motion's allowed. William Penn.
May it please the court, Your Honor. My name is William Penna, and I'm a practicing attorney with the law firm of Penna, Johnson & Burwell. I'm here to sponsor two people. The first person I'd like to sponsor is Jackie Bedard. Jackie has recently joined our firm and is a graduate of MIT and the University of Richmond School of Law. I am satisfied that she meets the requirements to practice law in the state of North Carolina. I respectfully request and move that she be admitted to practice in this state.
That motion's allowed.
Before its courts. Secondly, Your Honor, again, without repeating everything, I wish to also present Brenda Menard, who is a graduate of the University of Illinois School of Law. I am satisfied that she also meets the requirements to practice law in the state of North Carolina. And I again move for admission for her to practice before the courts in this state. Thank you.
Welcome. Thank you. The motion's allowed. Thank you. Mr. Penna, George Slimman. George, you.
Please support. I'm George Lemon with the Law Offices of George W. Lemon. And I wish to present to the court Michael Weston Burdick, who is a graduate of Duke University and the University of North Carolina School of Law, and has recently joined our firm. I'm satisfied he meets the requirements for admission to practice law in North Carolina, and respectfully move the court that he be admitted to practice.
Welcome. Thank you. Motion's allowed. Lauren Golaski.
Good afternoon, Your Honor. My name is Lauren Golaski, and I'm an attorney with Kilpatrick Stockton.
Okay.
I'm here to present three individuals.
Okay.
I wish to present to this court Ryan Hamilton Blackledge, who is a graduate of Tulane University Law School with myself. I'm satisfied that he meets all requirements for admission to practice law in the state of North Carolina, and therefore respectfully move that he be admitted to practice law before the courts of this state.
Welcome. Motion allowed, sir.
I would also like to present to this court John Livingston, who is a graduate of the University of North Carolina School of Law. I'm satisfied that John meets all the requirements for admission to practice law in the state of North Carolina, and therefore respectfully move that he be admitted to practice law before the courts of this state.
Welcome. Allowed, sir.
And finally, Your Honor, I would like to present Jacob Starnes, who is a graduate of the North Carolina Central School of Law. I'm satisfied that he meets all the requirements to be admitted to practice before the state, and therefore respectfully move that he be admitted to practice law before the courts of North Carolina.
Thank you. Welcome. Motion allowed. John Michael Strickland.
Hey, please support. My name is Mike Strickland. I'm an attorney with LexisNexis. I wish to present Alice Hooper Bradley, who is a graduate of the North Carolina Central Law School. I'm satisfied that she meets the requirements to practice law before the courts of this state, and respectfully move that she be admitted to practice law in the state of North Carolina.
Welcome. Thank you. The motion's allowed. Jim Lunt. How many did you bring this time, Mr. Blunt? 6, okay. My goodness, must have been a bad year.
I'm Jim Corn, Smith Anderson Law Firm, and it's my privilege to present to the court in alphabetical order. And I say this because I'm introducing the male member of our group first.
All right.
Jason R. Breggy, the University of Virginia Law School. Jason is now clerking with the United States Bankruptcy Court in the Eastern District of Virginia. Will be joining our firm when his term is complete.
Motion allowed, thank you.
Emily Diane Combs is a Harvard Law School graduate. I'll move the admission of all of them when I get to the end.
Okay. Why don't you do that?
Okay.
Consolidate your motion. All right.
Okay. Next is Catherine E. Kimberly, University of Texas School of Law. The next is Courtney H. Mission, University of North Carolina, Chapel Hill School of Law. The next is Kelly Ovies, Duke University School of Law. And finally, Andrea Bookman Short, who is a graduate of University of North Carolina, Chapel Hill School of Law. She is now clerking with Judge Allison Duncan in the Fourth Circuit and will join our firm after her clerkship. I'm pleased to present each of these to the court and satisfied that they're all qualified to be members of this bar and move their admission.
Thank you, Mr. Blunt. It's always a pleasure. Your motion's allowed. It's always fun to watch Mr. Blunt come down to the courthouse. You know, he'll come down and if you got a tri case, it's been a while since we tried one, but he'll come in and say, you know, it's been so long. You know, I sort of forget where I'm supposed to sit. You know? So he gets and I said to myself, this is going to be good. So it's always a pleasure to see you. You know where to sit and you know what to ask, and we all kind of know how it's going to come out. But it's nice to see you. John Baker. Welcome, Mayor.
Thank you, Your Honor. I'm here with the Parker Poe firm to introduce the court Ben A. Grewington III, graduate of North Carolina Central University. Ben is well qualified to be a member of the bar and I move his admission.
Thank you, sir. The motion certainly is allowed. I'll be glad when I can walk down here without having to walk through all the construction. I thought I was going to be on time, but I had to walk all the way around East Raleigh to get here. Sam Warren, where are you, Sam? You here? Shortly, there you are.
Good afternoon, Your Honor. Sam Myra Province. I have 5 people to present.
Okay.
With our firm, David Burns from Albany Law School, Shannon Poore from Campbell University Law School, Kevin Stanfield, also from Campbell Law School, and David Yoon from Campbell Law School. Also have the pleasure to present the son, Mike Garrett, good friends of ours, Tom and Ann Garrett from our neighborhood. And Mike traveled here today from Laguna Niguel. He is presently working with the IRS. Take note, be very kind to him.
All right. Thanks to hair sound on the back of your neck, doesn't it?
I'm satisfied all these persons have the requisite qualities and good candidates for the bar and move their admission.
Thank you. Your motion's allowed, certainly. I got Sid Eagles down here. Lawyer Eagles?
Hey, please, court, I have 3 to move. First is a family friend dating back to the days when I kept the nursery at church. I rocked this fellow when he was a little Carter. Graduated from the University of North Carolina. He's accompanied by his parents, Dennis and Lois Carter. And joining our firm, Erin Elizabeth Jockum. Ms. Jockum is a graduate of Case Western Reserve University Law School. She's accompanied by her parents, Mark and Joan Jockum. And Amanda Stokes, who graduated from the University of North Carolina Law School. She's accompanied by her husband, Eric, and her son, Aiden. I'm satisfied that each of these has met the qualifications for admission to practice in this court, and I respectfully move that their application be approved.
Great. Motion allowed. Welcome, certainly. Jennifer Jerzak.
Good afternoon, may it please the court. My name is Jennifer Jerzak, and I'm an attorney with Hedrick, Eaton, and Gardner Kinchlow. I wish to present to the court a new attorney with my firm, Kevin Siglowski, who's a graduate of Campbell University Law School. I'm satisfied that he meets the requirements for the admission to practice law in North Carolina, and therefore respectfully move this court admit Kevin Siglowski to the practice of law.
Thank you. Welcome, Kevin. Motion is allowed. Gina Holt.
May it please the court, my name is Gina Clark Holt, and I'm an attorney with the Public Staff Utilities Commission, and I wish to present to you Hamilton C. Craig III, who is a graduate of North Carolina Central University School of Law. I'm satisfied that he meets the requirements for admission to practice law in North Carolina, and I therefore respectfully move that this court admit him to practice law in the state.
Motion allowed. Welcome, Mr. Craig. Ryan Sherman.
May it please the court, Your Honor, I have two candidates here today. The first, Your Honor, is LaToya Crosby. She is a graduate of North Carolina Central University Law School. Second, Your Honor, is Jason Pfister, graduate of Wake Forest University Law School. I'm very satisfied that each of them meet the requirements for admission to the bar and therefore move their admission.
Welcome. The motion is allowed, certainly. Brian Meacham.
May it please the court, I'm Brian Meacham with Smith Anderson Law Firm. I wish to present to the court today John Andrew Demos. John is a graduate of Clemson University and a classmate of mine at the University of North Carolina School of Law. I'm satisfied that John meets the requirements for admission and I'd like to therefore respectfully move the court to grant his admission to the state.
Welcome. Motion allowed, certainly. And Jeanette Stevenson.
May it please the court, my name is Anjanette Stevenson, and I'm an attorney with the Law Office of Sally Scherer. I wish to present to this court Christy L. Ellison, who is a graduate of the University of North Carolina School of Law. I'm satisfied that she meets the requirements for admission to practice law in North Carolina, and therefore respectfully move that this court admit her to practice law before this court and state.
Welcome. Thank you. The motion is allowed. Ed Bryson. Ed?
Please support. My name is Ed Bryson, and with permission of the court, and without placing my feet in the bucket, I would like to...
You've been in the bucket before.
I would like to introduce a young man and then allow a special lady in his life, his fiancée, a member of our firm, to move that he be admitted to court. The young man I'd like to introduce is Samuel Scott Farwell. Scott is a graduate of Principia College in Elsa, New York. Before beginning his law school career, he served time in the Army. He was into law school in 2001, was called back into the Army and spent 15 months, 10 months of that in Iraq that is, on the Iran border, before completing his degree this past May. I turn it over to Christy Hedrick now.
Good afternoon, Your Honor.
Mr. Farwell, welcome. You can learn much from Ed Bryson. Okay. Keep your feet out of the bucket. Go ahead. Yes, ma'am.
Good afternoon, Your Honor. Christy Hedrick, also with Patterson Dilthey. Since this young man has created a skillful argument to convince me to marry him in 2 weeks.
Well, maybe you'll share. We can spend the time. Probably all like to hear it. Probably one of the best opening and closing arguments in his life.
I will spare the court, Your Honor. I am more than satisfied that Mr. Farwell meets the requirements for admission to practice law in the state of North Carolina. And I am honored and I respectfully move that this court admit Mr. Farwell to practice law before the courts of the state.
That's wonderful. Congratulations to you both. Motion's allowed, certainly. Betsy Cook. Betsy Cook. Are you here, Betsy?
Good afternoon, Your Honor. My name is Betsy Cook, and I'm with the law firm of Kilpatrick Stockton, and I'm actually here to move for 3 admissions today.
Certainly.
First, I'd like to start with Jason Flaherty, who is admitted in the state of Texas and is joining our firm at Kilpatrick Stockton with our Employment Benefits Group. He is a graduate of Washington State University and the University of Notre Dame Law School. I'm satisfied that he meets the requirements for admission to practice law and move that he be admitted to practice before the states of North Carolina.
Allowed, so.
I'm also here to present for admission Patricia Grin, who is a George Washington University Law School graduate. I am satisfied that she meets the requirements for admission to practice law and move for her admission.
Welcome. Motion allowed.
And finally, I wish to present to the court John Locke Milholland IV, who is a graduate of Campbell University Law School, and I'm satisfied that he meets the requirements to practice law in the state of North Carolina. I respectfully move for his admission.
Motion allowed. I'm waiting for somebody to say that the new lawyer is joining our intellectual property section of our law firm, because when Judge Eagles and Mr. Blunt and I were in law school, I'm not sure we were familiar with that term. So, let's move on. John Surratt, where are you, John?
Your Honor, John Surratt, on behalf of Kennedy Covington, I have two candidates, Scott Hovey of the Wake Forest School of Law and Amy Jurgis, who got her legal education at Harvard and Duke. I'm satisfied that each meets the requirements for admission and move their admission to the court.
Thank you. Welcome, both of you. Motion certainly allowed. Marcia Mitchell Hamilton.
May it please the court, my name is Marcia Mitchell Hamilton, and I am a newly admitted attorney, and I wish to present to this court Mr. Scott Gartland, a very dear friend of mine, who is a graduate of Campbell University Law School. I am satisfied that Mr. Gartland meets all the requirements for admission, and I therefore respectfully move this court to admit Mr. Gartland to practice law before the court of the state.
Welcome. The motion certainly is allowed. Lance Gitcomb. It says father. So that's, that kind of clues me in. It's a happy day.
Good afternoon, Your Honor. May it please the court, my name is Lance Gitcomb with the Law Office of Lance Gitcomb, and I'm an attorney in Hillsborough. I wish to present the court my daughter, Kelly Ann Gitcomb, who is a double deacon, graduate of Wake Forest University and Wake Forest University School of Law. And I'm satisfied that she meets the requirements for admission. And she will be practicing intellectual property when she finishes her PhD work at North Carolina State University.
How about that? I look forward to seeing her.
And I move for her admission to practice law in the state of North Carolina.
That's great. Welcome. The motion certainly is allowed. That's when you get back in chambers and you just say, tell me again what this lawsuit's about. Suzanne Chester.
Good afternoon, Your Honor. My name is Suzanne Chester. I'm an attorney with Legal Aid of North Carolina, and it's my great pleasure to present Susan Getches to this court. Susan is a graduate of North Carolina Central Law School, and having worked with Susan, having had the pleasure to work with her, I'm more than satisfied that she meets the requirements for admission to practice law in the state of North Carolina, and I respectfully move this court to admit Ms. Getches to practice law before the courts of this state.
Thank you. The motion's allowed. Welcome. Catherine Bumgarner.
Good afternoon, Your Honor. I'm Catherine Bumgarner, an attorney with Bumgarner and Rose in Raleigh, and I am here to present Alicia Grunbaum. I have had the opportunity to work with Ms. Grunbaum, and I believe that she meets all the requirements to practice law in North Carolina, and respectfully request that she be admitted to the practice of law.
Welcome. Motion allowed. John Ruscio with Lewis and Roberts. John.
Good afternoon. Your Honor, may it please the court, my name is John Rocchio. I'm an attorney with Lewis and Roberts here in Raleigh. I wish to present to this court Scott Crispin Harris. He's a graduate of Wake Forest School of Law and a new associate. I am satisfied that he meets the requirements for admission to practice law in the state of North Carolina, and I respectfully move this court to admit him.
Welcome. The motion allowed. Dan Hartzog. Dan, have you ever won a motion with me?
Please the court, I wasn't going to bring that up.
Did you tell Dan Hartzog Jr. who that might be an issue?
I I wasn't gonna get into that.
I hear you.
I won't lose this one.
We'll have to go home together. You can't go home anywhere else.
His mother and my managing partner, the same person, are here. So I do trust that we don't lose this motion today. May it please the court, my name is Dan Hartzog, Sr., and I'm an attorney with Cranfield, Sumner, and Hartzog in Raleigh, where we teach the lawyers to pretend like stepping in the bucket is a part of the plan. It is my distinct pleasure to present to this court two individuals who are both very special to me, both of whom are graduates of UNC School of Law and will be joining us in Raleigh, Megan Knight and Dan Hartzog, Jr. I am beyond a shadow of a reasonable doubt satisfied that each of them meet the requirements for the admission to practice law in the state of North Carolina and respectfully request their admission to this bar to practice law in the states in the courts of this state. Thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you. Your motion is certainly allowed. Both of you will learn much from
I really appreciate
Dan and Hartzog, the seniors. Frank Gordon. Where's Frank?
Yes, sir.
Bring your guitar.
No, sir, but you see I have a microphone, so
Okay.
watch out. I want to keep my day job, though. I'm Frank Gordon. I'm with the rock band Frank's Garage and also the law firm Milburn, Gordon and Stewart. Here today in my capacity with the latter profession, practicing law. I'd like to introduce Jonathan Holbrook to the court. Jonathan is a graduate of the University of North Carolina School of Law, and in spite of that, we hired him. Now, Jonathan is a fine young fellow, and he's been kind enough to agree to come help us keep the state safe for railroad traffic, and we're happy to hear that. I'm sure that he satisfies all the requirements for admission to the courts of the state, Your Honor, and therefore I move that he be admitted in that regard. Thank you.
All right, the motion is allowed. Jonathan, you're going to probably be sitting to the South Carolina bar too, I suspect.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I figured. Because the train apparently runs through North Carolina down to South Carolina.
It's like Judge Eagle said, we have to follow the money.
Motion allowed. Well, I've got, let's see, some repeats here. Jeremy Taylor.
May it please the court, my name is Jeremy Sean Taylor, and I'm an attorney with Womble, Carlisle, Sanders, and Reich. I wish to present to the court Kurt Kruger, graduate of the University of Tennessee, Samford University School of Law. I'm satisfied he meets the requirements for admission, and respectfully move the court admit Kurt Kruger to practice.
Welcome, Mr. Kruger. Your motion certainly is allowed. Bruce Thompson. Bruce.
Good afternoon, Your Honor. I'm Bruce Thompson. May it please the court. I'm an attorney with Parker, Poe, Adams, and Bernstein here in Raleigh. I wish to present to this court Robert A. Leandro, who is a graduate of Duke University and the Vanderbilt Law School. He has recently joined us at Parker, Poe, and we are satisfied that he meets the requirements for admission to practice law in North Carolina. And therefore, I respectfully move that this court admit Mr. Leandro to practice law before the courts of this state.
Leandro, are you associated with some lawsuit? Sir?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay. Well, I'll have to tell Judge Manning all about that. Motion is allowed.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Kelly Perry.
May it please the court, my name is Kelly Perry, and I'm an attorney with FAST Institute, Inc. I am pleased to present my husband, Matt Learberg, who is a graduate of Duke Law and who have the pleasure of becoming a new father and a new attorney within months of each other. I am satisfied that he meets the requirements for admission to the practice of law in the state of North Carolina, and I respectfully move that this court admit him.
Welcome. Congratulations to all three of you, and motion allowed. Robert Rusher.
May it please the court, my name is Bob Rusher. I I wish to present to this court Jennifer A. Lupke, who is a graduate of North Carolina Central University School of Law. I am satisfied that she meets the requirements for admission to practice law in the state of North Carolina, and therefore respectfully move this court admit her to practice law before the courts of this state.
Welcome. Welcome. Your motion is allowed. Former lawyer, then judge, then lawyer again, Alice Stubbs.
May it please the court, Judge Stevens, I have 4 candidates that I'd like to move for admission. If it's okay, I'll
Great.
introduce each of them and then move.
Okay.
Laura Barnes from Campbell University is here, and Lauren Beek as well. Ms. Beek attended UNC Chapel Hill. Courtney McKinney from Campbell University. And Steve Mansberry is here. Mr. Mansberry graduated from Case Western Reserve University. He joined Tharrington Smith several weeks ago, and we're pleased to have him in the family law section. All of these candidates have successfully completed the requirements, and I respectfully move for their admission.
Motion allowed.
Thank you.
Welcome. Thank you. Sharon McConnell. Sharon.
May it please the court, my name is Sharon McConnell. I'm a lawyer in Apex, North Carolina, and I would like to introduce to the court Ms. Rosa Matusik. Ms. Matusik is a graduate of the North Carolina Central University School of Law. I am satisfied that she has met all the requirements for admission to practice in the state of North Carolina, and I move the court respectfully to admit her to practice before the courts of this state.
Welcome. Motion allowed. Thank you. Nick Navalis. Nick, I meant to tell you that we've had a change in plans. When we adjourn, we're going to all go down to the Mecca for our little ceremony after. Okay?
And I will tell my mother to put it all on your bill.
All right.
May it please the court, my name is Nick Dombalis, and I'm an attorney with Nichols & Crampton here in Raleigh. I wish to present to the court Scott Carr Mayhew, who is a graduate of Franklin Pierce Law School. Judge Stevens, I am satisfied that he meets the requirements for admission to practice law in the state of North Carolina, and therefore respectfully move that this court admit Scott to practice law before the courts of this state.
Welcome, Mr. Mayhew. The motion certainly is allowed. Andrew Merrills.
May it please the court, my name is Andrew Merrills. I'm an attorney with Ogletree Deacons here in Raleigh. I wish to present to this court Kevin O'Sullivan, who's a graduate of Fordham University School of Law. Your Honor, having worked with Kevin, I'm satisfied that he meets the requirements for admission to practice law in North Carolina, and therefore respectfully move that this court admit Kevin to practice law before the courts of the state.
Thank you. Welcome, Mr. O'Sullivan. The motion is allowed. Josh Hanson.
May it please the court. My name is Josh Hanson. I'm an attorney with Hanson Law Firm here in Raleigh. I wish to present to this court Jessica Odom. Jessica is a graduate of Duke University and the University of North Carolina School of Law. I am satisfied that she has met the requirements for admission to practice law in the state of North Carolina, and respectfully move the court to admit Jessica to practice law before the courts of the state.
Welcome. Welcome. Motion allowed. Lynn Borchers.
May it please the court, my name is Lynn Borchers, and I'm an attorney with Myers, Beagle, Sibley, and Sajovic here in Raleigh, which is an intellectual property law firm. I wish to present to the court Bruce Owens, who recently joined our firm and is a graduate of Columbia University School of Law. I am satisfied that he meets the requirements for admission to the practice of law in North Carolina, and respectfully move that the court admit Mr. Owens to the practice.
Thank you. Welcome.
Thank you.
The motion is allowed. Ron Perkinson. Ron, where are you? Ron came by to see me yesterday. I'm holding court in 3A in the criminal courtroom and sat patiently waited for a jury to go out and to ask me if I had his permission as a member of the Lee County Bar to come to Wake County to move the admission of his sons. And I said, absolutely.
Thank you,
I'll
Ron.
make a motion. As long as you keep settling all of our, mediating all of our civil cases and settling them.
Thank you. May it please the court, I am Ron Parkinson. I'm a member of the Lee County Bar and a full-time Superior Court mediator
certified Superior Court mediator. I wish to present to the court today Sterling Parkinson, who is my son. He has his bachelor's degree and master's degree from the University of North Carolina and his law degree from Washington University School of Law in St. Louis. He will be joining the firm, or is, I guess now, with the firm of Kilpatrick Stockton here in Raleigh. And I am satisfied that if I meet the requirements, he more than meets the requirements to practice law in the state of North Carolina. I move his admission.
That's great. Motion is allowed. Welcome. Bruce Pettis.
Good afternoon, Your Honor. May it please the court, it's with great pride that I present my son to the court, Andrew J. Pettis, who's a graduate of NC State University and the University of Richmond Law School. I can assure the court that it is with keen interest that I have followed his preparation for admission to the bar, and I'm fully satisfied that he is well qualified. I move that he be admitted to the practice of law in the state of North Carolina.
Motion's allowed. Welcome. Welcome. Let's see. I've gone through 2 pages of sponsors. Joe Stallings.
Thank you, Your Honor. May it please the court. My name is Joe Stallings with the firm of Howard Stallings, Warren Hudson. It is my extreme pleasure to introduce to the court Andrea Schrag, who is now working with my firm. I have worked with her and know that she meets the requirements. She is a graduate of the George Washington University and the University of North Carolina Chapel Hill Law School. It's
You
my
mean
pleasure.
the University of North Carolina Chapel Hill?
The.
Okay, go ahead.
It's my pleasure to move for admission.
Certainly welcome. Motion's allowed. Jeff Miller.
Good afternoon, Your Honor. My name is Jeff Miller. I'm a lawyer with DLA Piper. I'm here to present to the court Laura Siriani, who's a graduate of Duke University Law School. I'm satisfied that she meets the requirements for admission to practice and move that she be admitted to practice before the courts of the state.
Welcome. Welcome. Motion's certainly allowed. Phyllis Pickett.
May I please report, Your Honor? My name is Phyllis Pickett. I practice law at the North Carolina General Assembly on staff in the bill drafting division along with Jerry Cohen and several other colleagues. I wish to present to the court today Ben Stanley, who is a graduate of the University of North Carolina School of Law. I am very satisfied that Ben meets all the requirements for admission to practice law in North Carolina, having worked with him as a clerk, and he's now on our staff. And I therefore respectfully move the court that you admit Ben Stanley to practice law before the courts of the state.
Welcome. Motion certainly allowed. Joe Austin. Joe.
May it please the court, Your Honor, my name is Joe Austin. I'm with the firm of Young, Moore, and Henderson. I'd like to introduce to the court Thomas Stroud, a graduate of UNC and Campbell University Law School. I'm satisfied that he meets the requirements to practice law in this state and respectfully move that he be admitted to practice before the courts of this state.
Welcome. Motion allowed. Catherine Wilkinson. I'm sorry.
May it please the court, my name is Catherine Wilkerson and I'm attorney with Lynch and Eatman. I wish to present to the court Jacob Sutherland. Jacob is a 2006 graduate of the University of North Carolina School of Law and has recently joined our firm. I am satisfied that he meets the requirements for admission to practice law in the state of North Carolina and respectfully move this court admit Jacob to practice law before the courts of this state.
Welcome, Jacob. The motion's allowed. Dave Holmes.
Yes, may it please the court, my name is Dave Holm. I'm an attorney with Holm Law Firm, and as a volunteer with the Wake County Young Lawyers Division, I would like to introduce 5 people today, and we'll put them all into one motion.
Okay. Sure.
First, we have Wesley Waller, graduate of the University of Miami School of Law. Second, we have Daniel Kinchelow, William & Mary graduate. Next, we have Nicholas D'Alessandro, graduate of Albany Law School. Myra Ware, graduate of North Carolina Central Law School. And Nicole Ashley Murphy, graduate of North Carolina Central Law School. I'd like to say, I know that some, if not all of these people, are looking for jobs. So if there's anyone here whose firm is hiring, I'm sure these people will be glad to talk to you afterwards. Your Honor, I am satisfied that they meet the requirements for admission to practice law in the state of North Carolina, and therefore respectfully move that this court admit them to the practice of law before the courts of this state.
Welcome. The motion is allowed. Certainly. Good luck in your job search. We've always got a space on the court-appointed indigent list, you know. I have reached the end of my list of sponsors. Man, somebody's going to have to help me here. There are others who are here as sponsors who probably didn't get the list, and there are Young Lawyers Division lawyers who are going to introduce folks. So I'm going to let you kind of go one at a time and tell me who you are and who you're introducing, please.
May it please the court. My name is Toni Pinkston. I'm an attorney with the law firm of Gurley and Cookson. I wish to introduce Sonal Shah. There she is.
All right.
Sonal has been a law clerk during law school with the firm of Gurley and Cookson. I'm satisfied that she meets the requirements for admission to practice law in the state of North Carolina, and therefore respectfully move the court to admit Sonal Shah to practice law before the court of this state.
Welcome. Sorry. Motion allowed. There are others, I'm sure.
May it please the court, my name is Jenna LeRoy, and I'm an attorney with Kilpatrick Stockton. I have 3 candidates to present today.
Thank you.
Ms. Kathleen Edwards, who is a graduate of Harvard Law School. Ms. Erica Lewis, who is a graduate of Michigan State University College of Law. And Mr. Brian Meyer, who is a graduate of Campbell Law School. I am satisfied these individuals meet the requirements for admission to practice law in the state of North Carolina, and therefore respectfully move that this court admit them to practice law before the courts of this state.
Thank you. The motion's allowed, certainly. Welcome.
May it please the court, Your Honor. My name is Steve Palme. I'm an attorney at Tharrington Smith, and I have 3 candidates to present this afternoon.
Okay.
The first is William D. Gaither, who's a graduate of Georgia State University College of Law. The second is Aisha Hassan, who is a graduate of North Carolina Central Law School. And the third is Stephen K. Griffith, who's a graduate of North Carolina Central Law School. I'm satisfied that each of these candidates meets the requirements to practice law in the state of North Carolina, and respectfully move the court to admit each of them to practice law before the courts of this state.
Welcome. The motion certainly is allowed.
May it please the court, I'm Jill Jackson with the law firm of Tharrington Smith. I'm presenting 4 candidates today. I wish to present to this court Matthew Duncan, who is a graduate of Campbell University School of Law. J. Gabe Talton, who is a graduate of Rutgers Camden Law School. Christopher Fulmer, who is a graduate of Duke University School of Law. And J.C. Jackson, who is a graduate of George Mason University School of Law. I'm satisfied that each of these candidates has met the requirements for admission to practice in North Carolina, and I therefore move that this court admit them to practice before the courts of this state.
Welcome. Thank you. The motion allowed.
May it please the court, my name is Anne Curtel. I'm an attorney with Young Moore, and I have 2 individuals I'd like to introduce to the court today.
Okay.
The first is Henry Riva Palacio, who is a graduate of the University of North Carolina School of Law, and the second is Israel David King, who is a graduate of the Wake Forest Law School. I'm satisfied that both of these young men satisfy the requirements for admission to practice in this state, and I therefore respectfully move the court to admit them to practice in North Carolina.
Thank you. The motion is allowed.
May it please the court, I'm Jack Nichols with the law firm of Allen Penix, and I'd like to introduce Tripp Carpenter. Where's Tripp? It'll be tough to move his admission without him.
It's like me saying, Jack, where'd you climb?
I actually had to wait an hour
I
and
don't know
a half
you're
for
going to
witness
prosecute a
today.
case without you climb here, you know?
Well, I'd already introduced him in front of Judge Rand so we could get his name on the letterhead, but apparently Tripp is not here. But
Okay, well, it's always nice to see you.
good seeing you, Judge.
Your motion's denied. You have now set the record, Jack Nichols.
My name is Carolyn Waller. I'm with the law firm of Tharrington Smith, and I have the pleasure of introducing 3 candidates today. The first is Tyson T. Baber, who is a graduate of the University of North Carolina School of Law. The second is James Bryan, who is a graduate from North Carolina Central School of Law. And the third is Florence DePavlich, also from University of North Carolina School of Law, North Carolina Central School of Law. I am satisfied that all three of these individuals have met the requirements to practice law in the state of North Carolina, and I respectfully request that you admit them to practice law in the state.
Welcome. Motion allowed, certainly. Thank you.
May it please the court, my name is Trey Allen, and I'm an attorney with Tharrington Smith, and I'm pleased to present two people today. Edward F. Rudiger, Jr., who is a graduate of Loyola University Law School, and Alicia M. Vick, who is a graduate of North Carolina Central University School of Law. I am satisfied they meet the requirements for admission to practice law in North Carolina, and therefore respectfully move that this court admit them to practice law before the courts of this state.
Thank you. Your motion is allowed, certainly.
May it please the court, my name is Christine Sheaf, and I'm an attorney with the law firm of Tharrington Smith. I have three candidates that I wish to present to the court. The first is Ian M. Laria, who is a graduate of Campbell University Law School. The second is V.J. Nathan, who is a graduate of the University of North Carolina. And the third is Susan Rist Sprasia, who's a graduate of Suffolk Law School in Boston, Massachusetts. I am satisfied that each of them meet the requirements for admission to practice law in North Carolina, and therefore respectfully move that this court admit them to practice law before the courts of this state.
Welcome. Thank you. Motion allowed. Ms. Hannah, how we doing? We think we got them all? We thank the members of the Young Lawyers Division for being willing sponsors to those who did not have an available sponsor today. Anyone else here who's a new lawyer who has not yet been introduced to the court? If so, and you don't have a sponsor, just raise your hand. I'll introduce you to a lawyer. And y'all get acquainted real quick, and then he or she will move your admission. All right, looks like we got it done. Now, as I understand it, everybody's got a religious book of their choice. Maybe a Bible, maybe a Torah, maybe a Quran, or if you choose, you may be affirmed. If you have a preference to simply be affirmed in the taking of your oath, that's quite okay. If you choose to do that, then you will simply raise your right hand when everyone else places their left hand on the religious book of their choice and raises their right hand. The books have been provided to you by the Bar Association, as I understand it, Judge Eagles, and that is a gift, a memento of the occasion, which you may keep. At this time, it would be appropriate and is appropriate for me to administer to you your oaths as attorneys. And if all of you would stand, those of you who are taking an oath, place your religious book in your left hand and raise your right hand, or simply raise your right hand if you choose to be affirmed. Do you and each of you solemnly swear or affirm that you will support the Constitution of the United States, so help you God? Amen. And further, do you and each of you solemnly and sincerely swear or affirm that you will be faithful and bear true allegiance to the state of North Carolina and to the constitutional powers and authorities which are or may be established for the government thereof, and that you will endeavor to support, maintain, and defend the Constitution of this state, not inconsistent with the Constitution of the United States, to the best of your knowledge and ability, so help you God? Amen. And finally, do you and each of you solemnly swear or affirm that you will truly and honestly demean yourself in the practice of law as an attorney to the best of your knowledge and ability, so help you God? Amen. Congratulations. Welcome to the bar of this court, the bar of the state. Just have a seat, please, for a moment. And I've got my 3-minute lecture that you'll all get. Everybody gets one. If I administer your oath to you. And then we'll have some instructions and the court will adjourn. You won't have an applause much in the courtroom, folks, so enjoy the moment. You just won't hear it happen. My memory of applause, I recall trying a case in Durham one time, and the jury stayed out about a day and a half, or almost 2 days, and looked like they were hung up in a civil case, and the lawyers eventually settled the case, and I brought the jury out, and I assumed that they would, and when told them that the parties had settled their lawsuit and discharged them, and I had sort of assumed that the jurors would have been irritated, that they spent probably 2 weeks trying the case and 2 days trying to resolve it, and the lawyers settled it, and you never know what jurors are going to do. But to my absolute amazement, they gave them a standing applause, which made me very happy. Everybody left happy. Hopefully that's the way every case will end, but as we all know, that's generally not the way every case that comes to the courtroom is concluded. In a moment or two, Sheriff Askew, Deputy Askew will adjourn the court sine die. I will be outside to sign your oaths, please. If you would fill out both copies, so that when you get to where I am, we can kind of move the line along. You'll keep one copy among your valuable papers, and we will keep one copy with the clerk to record this occasion. At the time after we adjourn, there is a reception, and we appreciate all the people, Nan Hannah and her committee has done all the work to put this together and put the reception together. And Nan, do you mind having the people in your committee stand up, if you don't mind, please? Those who are here, okay, thank you. Thank you. It takes a lot of work to get this done, and it is a sometimes thankless task, and we most appreciate this special occasion. I want to get a little serious with you now, just for a moment. The father of medicine who taught physicians, Hippocrates, who was the author of the Hippocratic Oath, instructed his physicians to first do no harm. I've always thought that those words should be included in the oath for attorneys. First, I will do no harm. First, I will do no harm. I believe that the spirit of that mandate is embodied in your oath when you swear that you will truly and honestly demean yourself in the practice of law as an attorney to the best of your knowledge and ability. Certainly, when you take that oath, you accept the responsibility to first do no harm. Do no harm to the client that you represent. Do no harm to the profession that you now join. Do no harm to the community of which you are a part. So that is your mandate when you leave here today, to keep ever forward in all you do is the obligation of an attorney. Certainly do no harm. You're an officer of the court today. You've taken on a big responsibility. You're a role model. You're a role model in everything that you do. You know, whether or not you decide to build a house with Habitat for Humanity on Saturday morning, or to go to the dollhouse and get drunk on Saturday night. You're a role model in every way for everything that you do. Whether we read your name in the front page of the News Observer as successfully trying a lawsuit to judgment or having been arrested for impaired driving, you're a role model for the profession. All the good that you do will benefit our profession. All the things that are not good will harm our profession. Please remember that. You're not ordinary citizens today when you walk out of here. You're officers of the court. You should always be mindful in all of your professional dealings of some very simple principles. There will never be a case. There will never be a client. There will never be a cause that's more important than your honesty and your integrity. Your honesty and your integrity are not for sale. Your honesty and your integrity are not negotiable. Your client does not buy your honesty and your integrity. Again, I say, they are not for sale. They are not negotiable. If you compromise those principles, I assure you, you will do great harm to our profession, to your client, and to the community. If you remain true to those very simple principles, I predict that you will greatly enjoy the practice of law, that tough decisions will become easier to make, and you'll have a lot of tough decisions to make over the course of your professional lives. They'll become easier to make. You'll get a good night's sleep, probably not a very long night's sleep sometimes, but a good night's sleep. You will not worry about decisions you made yesterday for those you will have to make tomorrow. You'll be proud of who you are. You'll be proud of your profession, and you'll have the capacity to do great good. These are very simple rules to follow, folks, and there simply are no exceptions to those rules. All of you also need to understand that in the eyes of the law and in the eyes of the court, all of you start at the same place today in this journey in the practice of law on the starting line. The law is a great equalizer. It doesn't matter where you went to law school. It doesn't matter where you graduated in your law school class. It doesn't matter how many times you took the bar before you passed it. It doesn't matter if your parents were lawyers or if they worked on the farm or in a mill. Everybody begins today at this point on the starting line. Who you were is not as important to the court and to the profession as what you make of yourself and who you become. On behalf of the Wake County Bar and the judiciary of this county, I say to you, as I have said many times, for every new lawyer here, a Wake County jury just went out on each of you to deliberate and decide how your professional life will be characterized. And that Wake County jury is going to stay out for 30 or 35 or 40 years, or in Jim Blunt's case, probably 50 or 60 years. And hopefully that jury will come back in with a unanimous verdict, not by a preponderance of the evidence, but beyond any reasonable doubt, that this lawyer first did no harm, but that this lawyer, in fact, did great good. Great good for the profession, great good for the client, and great good for the community and the world in which we all live. On behalf of our judges here in Wake County and of this state, I welcome each of you to the bar of this court and the bar of the state, and I wish for each of you the very best verdict possible. Please remember to prepare your oaths for me to sign them outside. Please, everyone, join us in the reception. I think you can get your picture taken so you can actually prove to somebody that this happened. That's probably that's, everybody wants forensic evidence these days, so, maybe that'll fit. At this time, Sheriff, if you'll adjourn the court, sign it out.
All rise. Oh, yes, oh, yes, oh, yes. This Honorable Superior Court for the County of Wake is now adjourned. Sign it out. God save this state and this honorable court.
Thank you. You're released. Thank you.